be learning about the print then cut feature in Cricut's Design Space. When you want to use print then cut is when an image has multiple shades or multiple colors or different gradients, something that you can't accomplish with vinyl alone. So I have the opportunity to donate something to a local woman in need. So I was thinking she needs home decor. So I was thinking of making her an inspirational reverse canvas. So that's what we're going to be working on today. The first thing you want to do is download an image. I've already done that. And so now I want to upload it into Design Space. So I'm going to hit this upload button and I'm going to do upload image. I got this really pretty watercolor laurel leaf wreath. So I'm going to upload this. So when you're doing print then cut, you want to make sure you upload it as a complex image because it has details, blended colors. This way it'll grab all the colors when you go to make it. It's pretty small, so I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to hit the wand feature, I call it the magic wand, to erase the background. Now you'll notice that some of the things in between the leaves didn't catch. So I'm just going to go around and find any white spaces. And I'm going to click the magic wand on it to make those transparent as well. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm going to press continue. And when you're saving it, you want to make sure you're saving it as a print then cut image. All right, so I'm going to name it. Always name your files so you can find them later. I'm going to name this watercolor laurel wreath. And then you can tag it as well. So for this, I might tag the colors that are in it. So let's do pink, purple, yellow. You can tag it with whatever is going to be easy for you to remember when you go to search it. So press save. And now it's in my uploaded images. If I wanted to, I could also go to the image and select it this way. So watercolor laurel. So now here it is as well. So I'm going to insert that image. This is going on a 10 by 10 canvas. So what I like to do is I'm going to make it bigger, but then I'm going to create a shape. I'm going to do a square, and I'm going to make my square about what the dimensions of the canvas once it's back on the frame is going to be. First thing I'm going to do is change it to white, and I'm going to go up here. I'm going to unlock this. Well, actually I'm going to keep it locked because I want the proportions to stay the same. Let's see, it's a 10 by 10 canvas. We'll leave 2 inches around for the frame. So I'm going to make this 8 by 8. And now I want to send this to the back of the canvas so I can access the wreath. So what you do is you right click and you send to back. That way I can manipulate the wreath without grabbing the white background as well. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good, I might stretch this just a little bit. So I'm going to hit the unlock button, and I'm going to take the green directional arrows and I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Right about there. Okay, that looks good. So now I want to add an inspirational quote in here. So I was thinking I want the top part to be a script and the bottom part to be a print. So I'm going to do, she believed she could, and I like to capitalize the letters when I'm doing a quote like this. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go ahead and center it. Okay, I'll change the font in a second. I'm going to make it somewhat the size. It'll probably change once I add the font that I really want to use. Okay, and then for the text part, the bottom part, I'm going to do it all in caps. So she did. Okay. So now I have my text already in here. What I want to do is I want to find the fonts. I think I know what font I want to use for the top. So let's pull up my font list and let it load. And I like this font. It's pretty and springy, and it looks like a happy font to me. All right, I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. I could also hide it by clicking the eyeball. All right, so I'm going to zoom in so I can see this because I want it to look like a true cursive font where it's connected. So what I like to do is I like to change the letter spacing up here first and get it as close as I can. And actually, that looks pretty good, but I want to move this B a little bit. So I'm going to go over here to the layers panel and I'm going to ungroup this. And I'm going to pull this a little bit to the left so it's not touching. And I want to make sure all these are connected correctly. This could stand to be a little bit closer. All right, that looks pretty good. I am going to move this up a tad bit. Okay, I like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a box around it, and then I'm going to weld this. Since it's a cursive font, you want to weld it. Now, if you notice, my some of my letters filled in. That just means that they are too close together. So you just hit the undo button, and you move them out just a bit. Sometimes you might have to do it a couple of times to get it to where it's supposed to be. So let's move this out. Let's move this out quite a bit because I have to access the O. All right, let's pull this out. I still want it to be connected, so we'll try this. I really want that closer. All right, let's try this. I'm going to select it all and I'm going to hit weld again. All right, that did it. Perfect. Okay, so now for this font, I know I want it to be a print font, but I'm not sure which one I want it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new tab and I'm going to go to Wordmark. I use this website all the time. This will show you all the different fonts that you have loaded on your system. So I'm going to type it exactly how I have it in my canvas on Design Space, and then I hit enter. So I'm going to find one. Let's look at the font again. It's semi-bold font, so I wanted to match that. I love American Typewriter. I'm going to select this just so I can see what it looks like. And you know that it's selected because it has this blue box around it. So I'm going to go through here and find some other ones. I don't want just a generic font. I want it to be kind of fun. So let's see what I can find. Banana milkshake's always a good one. All right, that's a good start. So I'm going to go up to this far right hand corner and do filter selected. I already know I'm not going to like that on it, so I'm going to get rid of that. I really like this KG how many times, so let's go to Design Space and let's try that. All right, for this font, it tends to squish them all together. So instead of doing the letter spacing up here, I'm going to go ahead and ungroup these. And I'm going to manually move them. You can also move them with the directional arrows on your keyboard. It's still a little bit closer than I'd like it, so I'm going to select each word and kind of move it. Okay, now that I have this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to hit this align button and align the bottom so I know that it's all even. And I'm going to go ahead in this one, since it's not a cursive font, I can just hit attach and it'll keep its space. So I want to attach. First I want to grab all of these and I want to do align center again. Okay, it's already done. So let's hit attach. Now when I go to make it, this will not scatter all around the screen. All right, let's zoom out. And let's place this inside the wreath. I want it to go a little bit further, so I'm going to unlock it so I can change the proportions, and I'm going to stretch this a little bit. Okay, I like that. So now I'm going to change the font. I want it to be a color that's in the wreath somehow. So I'm going to select it, and up here where it's in between line type and fill, there is the color swatch. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to see if one of these fonts already, if these colors fit, or if I need to do the advanced. I don't want purple, so I'm going to go to advanced. I kind of want this corally color, so that's probably going to be, I don't know, where is that going to be? Would it be down here? No, that's more orange. Okay, let's start from this. It seems like that actually looks good. Okay, so I guess more of a pink. All right, now, right now this is set to cut, and you can tell that by over here on the right hand side, it shows them all as cut. I need them to be print. So I'm going to go to this fill drop box, and I'm going to do the down arrow, and I'm going to change this to print. Okay, so now it's set to print, and since we saved this as a print then cut, it's going to be print as well. Now, if I were to do make it, right now, it would, when I go to, well, let's just show you what it'll do. When I go to make it, it's going to separate out, oh, its image is too large. I keep forgetting that. There is a size limit for print then cut. It needs to be 6.75 by 9.25. So let's change this. Is it 6.75? All right, let's try this. Okay, so you see it made it into two different ones. We don't want that. So let's hit cancel. I'm going to draw a box around this, and I'm going to do flatten. Now if I hit make it, it will be all together, but it's still not where we want it, because if I were to print it like this and put it through the Cricut, it's going to cut out every single little thing. It's going to cut out all the letters separately and all of these different leaves separately. I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to hit cancel. I need to put a shape behind it that it will flatten to. So I'm going to add a shape. I'm going to do a circle. I want it to cut some of these details of the actual flowers and leaves. So I don't want to encompass the entire wreath. I just want the inner part of the wreath to be it to attach to it so that the letters don't get cut out separately. So I'm going to go ahead and make this white, and I'm going to make my circle. And since I adjusted, well, I adjusted the I stretched it a little bit, so I'm probably going to have to stretch this a little bit as well. So I want the outer leaves to be cut, but not the interior ones. So I think let's send this to the back. All right, I went a little bit too far. Okay, I think that's going to look good. So now I need to flatten my image again so it connects to this circle. So I'm going to draw a box around it again, and I'm going to hit flatten. All right, now it should be the right size, and it should all be flattened. So let's go ahead and hit make it. Okay. The transfer printed transfer paper that I have requires you to mirror the image. Not all do, so make sure you pay attention to the directions. I'm using the Avery brand for light transfers. So I'm going to mirror the image, and I'm going to hit continue. All right, now I need to send it to my printer. All right, you're going to want to make sure when it's something like this that the bleed feature is turned on. Watch the image right here when I turn it off. You see what happens? It's got this bleed around it where it's kind of blurred, and the reason for that is that when the Cricut goes to cut it, you're not going to have some accidental white spaces that don't look right. It bleeds it a little bit, so it's got a little bit room for error when it's cutting. So I'm going to keep the bleed on, and I'm going to go to advanced options. And this is advanced options for my printer. I want to make sure it's set on the best quality.
you.